Hello, I would like to share an idea with you today, and that is called make a U-turn with your thought habits. Now, I know many of you are probably wondering, what do I mean by that? So that's exactly what I'm going to explain to you right now. Number one, what do we mean by what is a U-turn when it comes to our thought habits? Number two, what are some pitfalls we can fall into that can keep us from achieving our dreams? And number three, what are some ways we can move forward? So let's dive into this. Number one, when I hear the word U-turn, I thought about this. I actually happened to be driving earlier today, and like many of you, you're driving down the street and you either miss a turn or you realize that you're going the wrong way, and then Siri or Waze or whatever you're listening to, whatever Navi you have in your car says, make a U-turn. Now, sometimes we think, okay, sure, I'll do that. And sometimes we look at the traffic on the other side of the road. We're like, I'm not making a U-turn. There's, oncoming traffic. It wouldn't be safe. But that's the same thing that our thought habits do to us, is they can unconsciously and subconsciously make us take U-turns to getting what we want in our life. So let's take a moment and talk about that. What does a U-turn mean with your thought habits? Now, what I'd like to show you is a diagram, and I drew this out. So number one, this is me where I am today, okay? And then this arrow represents what I want to see in my life. What are the big dreams? What do I envision for myself? What does success look like? What gets me excited? What gets me out of bed every day? So I drew some diagrams just to show you what these each represent. So number one, I want love in my life, okay? So I am in a relationship, and I want to ensure that that relationship has passion, commitment, emotional connection, and it's somebody that lifts me up and makes me the best version of myself. So that's what I mean by a healthy, loving relationship. So I drew that. The next thing I want joy in my life. What does that mean? Well, my nickname happens to be Amy Joy, and with the work I do in teaching, training, and speaking, my mission is to inspire and create joy in other people. I want to bring joy to places where it doesn't exist within people. So to me, that's a huge value I have, and I every day focus on how can I bring more joy to more people, and it starts with myself. I know that. The next thing is I put a star there, and that's kind of like my rock star. Those are like my goals and dreams I have for writing my third book. I've written 2 books. I want to write another book about my life story, about lessons learned, boundaries, overcoming adversity, surviving a near-death experience at age 9, and standing here to tell you the story today. That's another thing I have on my list. And then last but not least, I drew a dollar sign. This doesn't necessarily mean I want to make more money this year. This is more or less like, if I measure success in my business, I want to attract more groups this year. I want to attract more clients this year. I want to travel the world this year. I want to go to some fun workshops and seminars. I want to have some adventure in my life. All of that is going to require certain income goals that I'm going to hit this year. So that's what I mean by the dollar sign. So now let's talk about the U-turn. What happens? Okay, so here I'm envisioning all these wonderful things happening in my life. And then what happens? Well, this arrow represents me seeing that and envisioning it, but what happens? I can quickly, unfortunately, do a U-turn. This happens to all of us every day, and I'm going to explain how it happens. We see all of this, but then our thoughts bring us back to where we are right now. They pull us backwards in a sense. How does that happen? There's probably 3 or 4 ways I can think of in my life and my training and watching and talking to other people. I think it comes down to 3 or 4 things. Number one, our story, our excuses. So as an example, I might say, well, I'm not capable of having a good relationship because I've been divorced before, or the last relationship failed. So I'm going to take that off the list. Oh, I don't know if I can be happy. It's raining outside today. Or I don't know if I want to write that book. I can't get started. Or I don't know if I want to pick up the phone and call those people I need to call. Cold calling. Okay, so I stop myself from taking action. Stop making excuses. Get rid of your old story, build a new story. Number 2, get rid of your expectations. I should have had this by now. I should have had that by now. And that kind of pulls me backwards. Be nice. Give yourself a pat on the back. Love yourself. That is one of the first rules to making things happen. Quit comparing yourself to other people and what they have. And the third thing that we do to ourselves to stop ourselves is that we don't have accountability. Get a coach, get a group of people, go to a seminar, read a book, do a workshop, do whatever you got to do. Get yourself to that place where you can do it.